Blue Ice rethought and remade their Choucas Pro harness. I've been using it long enough now to have my own impression on what changes are significant and what changes are maybe less so. Hi everyone, Jason here. I had done a review of the previous version of the Choucas Pro harness from Blue Ice. Oh, and just a reminder, for any time I get into a gear review, or in this case, more of a gear comparison, I buy all of my gear myself. Anyway, what stuck out to me in the old version was how much I could overload the harness with gear and have it still stand up to that heavy rack on vertical terrain. So when Blue Ice came out with their new version, placing a large emphasis on improving its ability to handle more technical alpine routes that needed more gear, I was curious if the improvements would be noticeable. Here then are the changes to the new harness model that have stood out to me as I compare the new and the old. First, and addressing one of Blue Ice's most significant claims in the redesign, is it sturdier. If we take a look at the fabrics and stiffening elements that give structure to the body shape, I've noticed a couple of things. At the tapering points on the waist and legs, the old version is actually stiffer, but across the bulk of the structure, the new version is stiffer. The end result is that the new version is maybe slightly better to hold up against deformation when carrying heavy loads, and is maybe slightly more comfortable to fall on or hang in, but I didn't notice a major difference. But I'm also a pretty small person, weighing about 140 pounds or 63.5 kilograms, so maybe a bigger person would feel more of a difference. When it comes to racking gear, I can say that the new gear loop designs have stood out. In the back loops, we have slightly less surface area because the loops don't run all the way up to the top of the harness, but if we do load up the loop, everything that is in there hangs better because we don't have this diagonal pull against the loop. For the front loops, they are 3/4 molded with a slight tilt towards the front. I have found the gear to sit well with that slight tilt, and I have found the molded section easier to clip. They didn't mold the entire loop so that it can still fold down and pack small. The rear loop has gone from horizontally oriented to vertically oriented. For the types of things that I carry there and need to secure behind my back, like a tagline, I found the new orientation a little easier to use. Another change in gear carrying is the management of ice screws. The slots for ice clips are now both close to the back of the first gear loop and the front of the second gear loop. In the old version, the rear ice clip point is in roughly the same place, but the forward clip point was at the tapering point of the waist. That forward clip point, with the top and bottom loops being less spread out across the spine of the ice clip, made that ice clip less stable when compared to the new version of the harness. The new positioning also makes use of the front gear loop easier, as almost the entire loop is free from being under screws. There is a little intermingling of screws that can make grabbing from the rear clip harder if we haven't used screws from and cleared the front clip first. There is also now on the new version an elastic loop on each leg. That is for ski mountaineering or for glacier travel when climbers often only want to carry 1 or 2 screws, and this allows them to secure a screw in place even when hanging from a standard carabiner so that it does not potentially damage outerwear pants. Also noticeably better are the leg loop release buckles. On the old model, the loops that the buckles run through constrict due to a twist. On the new model, the loop stays more circular, which makes it easier to slide the T-buckle into and out of that loop. The T-buckle is narrower, but also more aggressively curved. In all, it's far easier to use while still robustly locked when fully closed. And speaking of buckles, the waist buckle has gone from a flat and wider pinch point on the smaller portion of the speed buckle to a more narrow and rounded design. This makes it much easier to tighten the waist strap, and especially so with a thickly gloved hand. All of the material that makes up the waist strap, the structure at and near the hardpoints, and even the belay loop is wider and sits flatter, making it less prone to twisting. They are using abrasion-resistant materials like Dyneema, which even the stitching threads are made of. Blue Ice claims improved durability, but before multiple years of use, it's honestly too early for me to judge. All the changes come, believe it or not, without additional weight. My new harness weighs 1 gram less, at 152 grams or just barely over 5 1/3 ounces, compared to my older version weighing at 153 grams, both in a medium size. For the changes in features, materials, and the associated functionality benefits, as of this recording, we'd pay $4 more US. Do I like the harness? Sure, but I like the first version too. While some of the changes have been very minor improvements by my estimation, I do find the various gear clipping improvements, the ease of opening and closing the leg loops, and the ease of tightening the waist buckle to be very noticeably better. Do you climb with a Choucas Pro or any other pieces of Blue Ice equipment? Tell us what you have experience using and what you think about it in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share if you want to support us. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com. You can watch a short we did on the benefits of the wider diameter on Blue Ice's aero screws, or you can check out our entire gear-specific playlist. We'll see you next week and keep on getting more out of that big outside.